Hello, dear friends. Today we continue our look at the diary of a German corporal. Don't forget to rate the video and leave your thoughts on this content. Well, let's get started. September 27th, 1941. A massive fire in the city center continues. New explosions, new fires breaking out. Ammunition depots are exploding. September 29th. On the road again. After a day-long march, we arrive in Pripyat by evening. We're driving through rural areas. From time to time, Russians fire at us with rifles, apparently from positions that were recently defended, but are now deserted. The rout of the 4 encircled Red Armies is a fait accompli. By the most conservative estimates, 650,000 men have been captured. In endless columns they file past us toward the west. It is even possible that these are the very same men who attacked us so fiercely over the past few weeks. But now it is all over. Their units are surrounded, and the encirclement is tightening ever more. It would be sheer madness for us to surrender. Otherwise, they would simply shoot us all. September 30th. We remain in Pripyat for several days. Our task is to clear the nearby forests of the remaining Bolsheviks. By Russian standards, the living conditions are quite acceptable. While most of our men are wandering about, I sit over a map and sketch out tactical diagrams. First of all, I wash myself thoroughly, shave, and then go to sleep for a few hours. Dinner is soup from the field kitchen, which often goes to starving Russians as well. Poor people. Always the same thing, a crust of stale bread, and they are happy and content with life. I have no doubt that these people knew better times many years ago, under the Tsar. Again and again, I ask myself how it is that here, in the richest region of Russia, in the breadbasket of Europe, people are dying of hunger and living worse than cattle. The criminal Bolsheviks shamelessly deprived their people of a normal, happy life for the sake of an arsenal whose scale is unique in the world. If our motto was guns instead of butter, then in the Soviet Union it was no butter, no housing, only the bare necessities, only guns. The Bolsheviks succeeded in misleading the world about the quantity of their weapons. We underestimated the Red leaders, their soldiers, and their armaments. Because there is so much weaponry in this country that it is impossible to even imagine, and this applies to both its quantity and its power, not to mention aviation, tanks, and automatic weapons. And as for the Red Army soldier himself, he is a formidable enemy, a tenacious, fanatical fighter, unlike any we have ever encountered. A month and a half of fighting in the trenches near Kyiv has most clearly demonstrated both his strength and his weakness. The strength of the Red Army soldier lies in his ability to hold the defensive position. His natural instincts enable him to skillfully exploit all the advantages of the terrain. The most outstanding quality of the Russian soldier is his tenacious struggle to the very end, often out of fear of the Commissar's swift reprisals. The enemy has shown ingenuity in delaying tactics, in well-organized retreats, and, of course, in the ability to conceal his retreat. The mining of the territory they leave behind is constantly improving. The Russians are inexhaustible in their ingenuity. Very often, they use delayed action fuses with an unknown detonation time. In this sense, their mining of Kyiv after their retreat is a masterpiece of sorts. Over the past few days, we have diffused mines with a delay of up to 165 days. The Russians have proven themselves masters at constructing all kinds of fake structures. Their positions are impenetrable. Their attacks are inherently fanatical, massive assaults. If an attack fails, they simply repeat it until they win. Their attacks are almost always preceded by intense artillery preparation, and they often attack with tank support. The attack begins either at dawn or at night. The infantry advances in dense masses, often in what looks almost like a ceremonial march. And they dig in very skillfully, as is evident from their positions. The Russians readily employ guerrilla tactics. In this regard, one might say they have no equal. The partisan war was planned, prepared, and conducted with the direct involvement of the Bolshevik leadership. Nor should we forget their artillery, those damned Russian batteries, far more numerous than we had imagined. The number of guns of various calibers seems inexhaustible. We encounter them even in the most minor skirmishes. The Russian arsenal includes, in addition to their own types of guns, guns from almost every country, including French, British, American, and even German, manufactured by Krupp. There are also rocket artillery batteries. They always have ammunition available in any quantity. Its quality is very good. Incendiary shells occupy a special place. I have seen them in various forms: phosphorus shells and thermite shells, which possess enormous explosive power. The Russians never spare ammunition or munitions in general. The devastating fire from Russian batteries often pummels the same target for days on end. There were plenty of examples of this in Teremki. During daylight hours, even a minor target, a messenger on a motorcycle, for example, is bombarded with a massive amount of ammunition. Radio and wireless communications. They should be more careful here. The Russians are quite experienced in this area as well, but radio is by no means a decisive factor, since there are plenty of deception methods here too. During a retreat, they often simply abandon radio equipment, including transmitters, as if to say, "Big deal, it's not that important." Higher-level headquarters still have radio-telephone communication, but at the regiment and battalion levels, messengers predominate. It was precisely the lack of reliable radio communication that played a negative role in their defeats. October 4th. Much faster than planned, we leave Preluki on the morning of the 1st. After a day's march, we are to be redeployed to a sector under threat near the village of Olshana. In Romny, due to the terrible confusion caused by the pitch-black night, I somehow lost track of my unit. Together with the brave Zepp, we wandered for several days through the utterly devastated territory in search of our division, but to no avail. On the Putivol bridgehead, we saw Guderian's tanks. That morning, we finally found our unit 112 kilometers to the south. It would take a separate diary to describe all the adventures Zepp and I had. October 5th. And again, an important but highly risky order. Until the division arrives, which will take about 5 days, the mobile unit must defend Olshani against superior enemy forces. Before leaving this morning, several combat vehicles from the 9th Tank Division managed to push the enemy back several kilometers, which gave us a chance to dig in. We only managed to dig the trenches absolutely necessary for battle. Something is brewing. You've been abandoned. We're outnumbered. We are the line of defense. We are the 2nd and 6th waves of the attack. No infantry, no artillery, nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's how it is. Just like in Teremki, Russian planes are attacking us in swarms. Houses are burning down, one after another. In the evening, the Russians rush to attack our positions with their "Hurrah!" and run straight into the fire of our machine guns. It's immediately clear that the soldiers are untrained. It was very restless all night. Scouts report, the Russians have brought in additional troops. October 6th. In the pre-dawn mist, the Russians attacked us again. But this time, they weren't rookies, and we had to work up a sweat despite the morning chill. During a cautious counterattack, we can't afford to take risks, we have too few men, we still managed to drive the Russians back, and even capture a few of them. We are dealing with the Moscow Proletarian Guard and Asians. There are plenty of them here, and as the attack showed, they fight desperately. Alas, we have suffered losses, and we have lost two of our best comrades, lieutenants. What a shame. These two officers really are the best among us. For the first time in the afternoon, we were honored with a visit from American bombers. With fire from their machine guns, they set the last of the surviving huts ablaze. A little later, they flew in again. We had to retreat to the hills in the northeast, constantly fending off the enemy pursuing us. Only through incredible effort did we manage to scare off these fanatically screaming hordes. No, these are not human beings. Perhaps we have somehow been transported to the era described in Karl May's novels? Like wild cats, they climb trees and shoot from completely unexpected places. Just like the Negroes in La Berlière, they clench long machetes between their teeth. A vile and treacherous Asian rabble. Gentlemen, it looks like we're in for a funeral. And just at the height of our despair, a miracle happens. Reinforcements! Out of nowhere, our brave infantrymen appeared like a bolt from the blue. In the heat of the attack, no one even noticed how they got here. There are more and more of them, and platoon after platoon they join our defense. That very evening, the Bolsheviks are driven back as a result of our counterattack. But the enemy is nowhere to be seen. The darkness is impenetrable. We return to the positions we had left behind. The infantrymen organize intense covering fire, which even allows us to lie down and sleep, and soon we're snoring away in our dirty foxholes and trenches. That's all for today. If you liked the video, please support it with a like and subscribe to the channel. Bye for now, everyone. See you next time.